Did you know that meditation isn't just a wellness trend? It's a superpower for inner peace. And it's rapidly becoming a global tool for creating collective calm and even world peace. Today, we're diving into the explosive rise of meditation worldwide. And trust me, these numbers will blow your mind. 275 million people reported meditating regularly this year in 2025. And you probably won't be surprised by this. There was definitely a spike in March of 2020. India leads with about 81 million meditators, followed by the US with about 38 million, and then China with about 12 million. When you look at the entire world population, which is about 8.2 billion, that's less than 4% of all of humanity who meditates. So think about that for a minute. Just imagine if that number could double or triple, and how much that would increase world peace. And it gets even more interesting. Demographics in the US, 17.3% of adults meditate regularly. And the age ranges for that is middle-aged adults between 45 and 64. They're the most active around the world. And women meditate nearly twice as much as men. Just a few minutes a day can lower stress, increase clarity, and regulate your emotional state. And when millions of people do that, the vibration of the entire collective could change for the better. And today, Catherine and I are going to break it all down for you. The biggest misconceptions about meditation, why you don't need years of practice for it to work for you, why it's for every type of person, and how to make meditation work for even the busiest schedule. You've probably heard the saying, you should meditate for 20 minutes a day, unless you're super busy, and then you should meditate for an hour. So stay with us until the end to understand why that's actually true. We're also sharing our personal stories, how both of us discovered meditation during the seasons of loss, major life transitions, and trauma, and how finding inner calm literally transformed our lives from the inside out. Plus, you'll learn how meditation is becoming one of the most accessible tools for humanity and how it might just be the missing link to creating positive global change. Check the timestamps if you want to jump to specific topics. And now we want to hear from you. How has meditation changed your life? Drop a comment below. Tell us your story. It might be exactly what someone else needs to see in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to help it reach more people who need it. And check out the full playlist for the Go Slow to Go Fast Lifestyle Podcast for more inspiration, tools, and stories that support your journey. How do you go slow to go fast?
Well, I love my mantras in the morning. I'll do a mantra. Usually I like the one to Lakshmi, the abundance meditation. You just 108 times you get these mala beads. I have them right here. Mala beads are right here. And you just count the beads and you say, Nikki, do 100. It takes about 8 minutes. 8 minutes to go around the mala. So I love that because that gets me centered. It raises my vibration. No matter what was on my mind and all my worries, honestly, I'm ready to tackle the day after that. But then around 3 o'clock, where we all have that dip in energy and everyone grabs an extra coffee and adrenaline and pushes through. That is so bad for you. So that's when I suggest, I even have a track called Power Nap. And that is what I always suggest people to sit down for like 10 minutes and do a meditation at 3 o'clock, and you will recharge your battery. It's like unplugging your computer for a while at 3 o'clock, and then you have this natural energy to keep going. You don't need to chug another coffee and more sugar. It's just going to crash later. It's not good. So 3 o'clock is a great time. And then I do my body scan when I go to bed. Really, it's not a lot. And but sometimes I'll have other things on my mind or goals. And if I do have time, of course, I'm going to meditate. But I try to be mindful. When I eat lunch, I try and be more mindful of what I'm eating. Try to engage my senses while I'm driving. just these little mindful moments add up to a beautiful mindful day, and then you have a peaceful life. So when you wake up, rather than having a to-do list, I tell my students, "What's your to-be list today? How
I
do you
like
want
that.
to be today?" And think, journal, write down, "I wanna be today productive but peaceful. I wanna be helpful, but I also wanna have boundaries, and I wanna be this, I wanna be that."
Let's go back to the beginning. How did you learn about meditation?
Yeah, a lot of people just assume that, most women my age have corporate burnout, and that's how they discover these modalities. But actually, I learned to meditate when I was 16 years old. I was a very depressed teenager living in Australia. I moved to Australia when I was 12 with a traumatic childhood and a not so nice stepfather. And I was pretty depressed. So here I was sitting on the curb one night taking the trash out. And no, I was skipping school. I was getting high. I was hanging out with the wrong kids. I hated high school. I was actually on the probation list, about to get kicked out of school at age 16. No one at home ever said, "Do you have homework?" No one cared about what I did or where I was. And I was, not a happy chappy. And I found this. We used to stack the newspapers out on the street curb, and this hit my ankle, and it was on the front page of one of the sections about an introductory lecture about mind development. And I'd always been interested in life after life and spiritual things, always was very a spiritual seeker, even at 13, I was reading these silly books. And I don't even know how I found these books, but there were spiritual bookstores around even back in the 70s, but they were hard to find. And I found them. Anyway, so I somehow begged my parents and I got to go to this lecture, and I did his 2-week course in a hotel conference room. I was the youngest person there. And it was basically 2 weeks of your eyes closed, learning all these mental mind development techniques, a lot of meditation. And it was great. And it taught me how to access my memory banks, how to remember things, how to set goals and achieve them, and visualization and self love as well. I felt I accessed the self love I really didn't think that I had any love in my life, and I was able to access inner peace myself. And so my life changed. I dropped those friends. My grades went through the roof. My SATs were good enough that I got into college. You got to do a BA in psychology. I started jogging on the beach every morning before school and meditated every morning by the pool when I'd wake up. And anyway, it did change my life, probably saved my life. That is why I'm so passionate about meditation. And that was 1977. I graduated high school, and I started teaching kids in my dorm room at college because that was fun. And I wanted everyone to know about it. I was crazy about it, but, I was on the fringe. I was kind of kooky.
Like you said, it's like you might have been on the fringe, but people obviously gravitated towards you. They wanted to learn about it. They were curious. So that's a good thing. And it sounds like you've found your calling to be a teacher of meditation. I think that's just it's intriguing that you
Oh,
took.
it was word of mouth. Back
Mm,
then, you wouldn't do that, and, I
right.
s didn't make any money from it, I never asked for money. It was just my friends would s say, "I'm have a big test, I'm freaking out." And I say,
Mm-hmm.
"Come here, we'll do a meditation, I'll guide you, I'll show you how to visualize a good end result, make you feel better." That's all I did. And then
Yeah.
got out of college, it was always there for me, but there was no career path. Went into sales because I was sick of before, a broke student. So I went into sales. I ended up working in television, sales and sponsorships on TV. But it was great because I was a vegetarian, which was unusual back then too. And worked on a cooking show, and I would be able to get a vegetarian segment in or something like that. So that wasn't until I had my kids and I was living in Boston, that I decided that it was time to go back to work, and I wanted to create meditations and put them out into the world.
And I think, it seems like people are more open, having an awakening or realizing that there's more to their, spiritual beliefs than maybe they have previously maybe explored. And so I think more and more people are open to the idea of meditation, but they probably, in many experiences may not understand how to start the process.
I have my own meditation app I created about 10 years ago, and I just have it right here to show you where because I had CDs to start with, and then there's no CD players anymore, so I have it.
Right?
Here it
Okay.
is, Tranquil Me,
Nice.
but there are millions of these apps now,
Yes.
so it's that easy, everything's on the phone. Teenagers these days, there's just so much support
Mhm.
right on your phone. It's pretty amazing, and it's a miracle of technology that we can reach people all over the world, and they can access inner peace through their phone even. I mean, if
Yes.
someone told me in college that I would have my meditations on this, then the whole world I could put them to sleep, I would have thought it was a miracle. Like, what are you
I
talking
know.
about?
I know. I mean, 20 years ago, who knew? Let alone, 40 years ago. So that's amazing that we have come pretty far. And now that we're hitting that spot where there's some alignment of interest and access. And so now there's probably people out there right now listening who think, well, I've heard meditation works and it's just not for me. And I know you've heard that before too. What
Mm.
would be your advice? What would be your suggestion? How would you invite them to try again?
Well, I would invite them to look at the list of benefits and how it actually will grow your telomeres. So you have more life to live. You will live longer if you do it. Your brain will help fend off the dementia and all the other brain problems that are in the future. And it is really got so many benefits. That's the first thing I would do is Google the benefits of meditation, go deep dive there. And then secondly, I would say that anybody can meditate, especially these days, because I would suggest a guided meditation because someone like me will guide you through the process. And it is not shutting down your brain. You can't do that. It's not shutting off your thoughts. Everyone's like, oh, I can't meditate. I can't just clear my thoughts. I can't. There's no way. I even lie in bed and the whole day's flashing before my eyes. Well, that's what the mind does. It's just like the tummy will digest food for you, the lungs will breathe, and the mind will think. So you don't want
Mhm.
it on your mind, but you can learn to detach from that mental chatter, which they call the monkey mind. Because you think about it now, you're looking at me and you're going, oh, yeah, I used to have a striped shirt like that, but then I get to my sister and I wonder if she's coming Thanksgiving or not. Oh, what turkey am I going to make? And I'm going to get the next thing you know, within 2 seconds, your brain has gone from my striped shirt to sitting in the dentist chair. Who knows where you went? And
Mhm.
that's where you change your brain goes from branch of thought to branch of thought. It's always making these connections. It's constant. That's what it does. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it's not that important, right? But I always tell people, don't believe everything you think. Okay. Don't take everything so seriously. And, that's why I have this retreat called Lighten Up Retreat. You wanna lighten up on yourself and lighten up on your mind and what your expectations are and judging, and so what you do is you learn to calm that monkey mind by ignoring it for a while. That's what meditation is. It's like you bring something to the forefront of your awareness, whether it's a mantra, some Sanskrit words you could say over and over, something your brain cannot attach to. That's a good way to meditate. Or you can follow your breath as a classic meditation. Is one of the first ones to come out for the East is just the breath awareness. Be aware of breathing. Like sometimes I pretend that I'm an alien that took over this human body. And it's like, what is this apparatus of breathing? And it's called the mindful breath. You become totally mindful of breathing, something you take for granted, something that you have 23,000 breaths a day. You don't notice them. So when you notice them, all that thinking goes in the background noise. That's all. You're still thinking, but you're detaching. And so I tell people to think of your thoughts like clouds in the sky. they coming in, you see it, you say, thought. Label it if you want, thought, and then let it go. Don't follow it like the crazy monkey. Don't dive into some story. It's going to take you somewhere. And usually we have like 110,000 thoughts a day. And so most of them are about the past and the other half are the future. And so you're either in anxiety about the future or you're depressed about some mistake you made in the past. And so when you get meditation gets you grounded in the present moment where right now all is well. What's going on? Everything's fine. So get in the present moment as much as you can. And there are many, many, many ways to do it. There's not just one way. And that's what the message I want to send to people is yes, you can do that. And like you mentioned to me the other day, sometimes washing the dishes is an act of mindfulness. People will do chores and they'll be trying to solve all their problems while they're doing the chores. But if you were really mindful of what you were doing and you felt the fabric of before you put the clothes in the washing machine and you noticed the color of the detergent and whatever, the smell, and you engaged your senses, you would have had a mindful moment of peace. And that peace extends your life and it gives you more energy. And it's like what you say. It's like go fast to slow down or you know what I mean? And it's like that. It's like just notice and don't be because we have that oh my goodness, ADHD, everybody has it now from all the digital click, 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 now, and we multitask. So we need meditation more now than ever before.
Yeah, there are people out there right now listening saying, I can't sit still, maybe in a chair or on the floor and be successful at, having something miraculous happen to me. And that's maybe what they have in their mind as meditation. But
Mm.
like you said, it could be while you're washing dishes. For me, it could be right when I wake up in the morning, I'm trying to think about what I dreamed about, and then something will come to me. Or it could be in the shower, could be while I'm doing laundry. It's better for me if I'm moving because I've learned if I move, then try to sit still, it's better than me trying to sit still and then I'm just constantly fidgeting with something. So I think it looks different for everybody.
Yeah, like
Mm.
some people, it's swimming laps in a pool. But instead of trying to solve the world's problems, you have a mantra or a humming or a counting or something that keeps you grounded in just that here and now while you do your laps. People jogging will listen to binaural beat music or affirmations while they're jogging or something. There's so many things you can do. And that's one of the myths and misconceptions of meditation is that it is going to do something miraculous and you have to sit down and you have to wear robes and beads and you have to burn incense and have chanting gong music in the background. And that's not it. I mean, that's one way to really indulge in the peacefulness. But no. You want to fit into your life in a practical way. And there are so many methods that you can do this in a practical way.
Talk about if you've ever had any kind of conversation with people who might find it not in alignment with their beliefs, right?
I think that a lot of people think they have to believe in something or they think it's a religion. And even Buddha said Buddhism is not a religion, it's a practice. And I think reading scripture that's inspirational in the mornings and feeds your soul is wonderful. And that is
Mhm,
definitely a type of meditation because also
mhm.
they're not thinking about the past or the future. They're just focused on one thing. And it's inspirational, it's positive, and it really helps them mentally and physically. It is not a religion, it is not a cult. And one of the things that I agree with is it's more like listening to God, being open to listen, to receive, to hear your intuition, you might call it as well. So you can access that almost like being a vessel for information, being open to the information. And it could be God is your source. That's true. And then prayer is visualizing or talking to God and meditating is listening. And of course the two blend because if you're going to visualize something in meditation and you want to manifest a positive result, you're asking for a higher source to help you. and you're using your powers of your mind, which are God given. So it's all good. It's not a religion. Anyone could do it. It doesn't matter what you believe in. It really does.
Yeah. I think both can be true. They can both coexist. It's just, it just depends on what you want to spend your time doing. If you want to do one versus the other or both or
Well,
try again.
that's the other myth is people think you have to do it all day. Honestly,
Mhm.
I tell people do 2 minutes in the morning and 2 minutes in the afternoon. Just start with that. Everyone
Yeah.
has minutes, and you'll feel the difference. You
Mhm.
will, and then you'll extend it to 10 minutes. And it's 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. Now, yoga was invented in India as a precursor to meditating. It was so they could sit for long periods of meditation. That's why they invented yoga. They wanted to stretch their organs and all these parts of their body so they could sit still forever. But that was the origin of it. And I would suggest to you, yeah, go for a jog, move your body so you're not restless. But don't have to do hours and hours of it. I mean, it's very effective, even 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would say, and it's a practice that I probably do more at times in my life and do less in other times. And I think it's like riding a bike. It always comes back. So if you haven't meditated in a while, it doesn't mean you can't pick it back up again.
Oh gosh, no. Every day is different, and there's no goal. You're not doing
Hmm.
it to become realized and enlightened. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, it might happen, who knows, but that's not why you do it. You don't do it for any goal. You do it because it feels good, and you are actually making the world a better place because when you become peaceful, you are able to then spread peace wherever you go. And I think that's why I teach meditation is you spread peace one peaceful person at a time, we're going to have a peaceful world. It's like Dalai Lama said, if everybody could teach children to meditate and teach about compassion for themselves and others, what kind of world would be no war in the future? So this is my mission.
I think there is quite a bit of research out there about when people come together in prayer or meditation, the crime rates go down in certain areas where they come together physically, or
Very
when they're putting their intention into a certain part of the world. You do see the alignment, and you can find metrics on that in research. So it
I have
makes
in
sense.
my book, the last chapter of my book is about a lot of
Some people listening to this podcast or watching on YouTube might need to know a little bit more of the facts. And that is a helpful chapter for them to explore because it's not just to feel good, it's to do good in the world. And so if you feel like you don't have the budget to donate to a charity or you don't have time to volunteer, meditating a couple of minutes a day is going to help you and those around you.
Yeah, you feel like you're not hopeless. You're not helpless. You are empowered by being peaceful. That it gives you hope for the world. It gives you hope that you can spread peace in some way. So I have a lot of different guided meditations to get people to that place. And like you said, every meditation you do is totally different. So you don't beat yourself up if one day you sat there for 10 minutes and it was just all about yesterday in your brain. And, or you say you fell asleep, or you don't beat yourself up. I mean, even the Dalai Lama says some days are harder than other days to but it's really a matter of learning to relax yourself as well, to manage your stress because you cannot avoid stress. People think if I'm a meditation teacher that I should never get stressed. Hello, shit happens. Things happen to people. I'm a human being, I'm going to get a phone call. It's bad news. I'm going to get this. My car's going to break down or whatever. And it's just a matter of being responsive instead of a knee jerk reaction that maybe you used to have. You start to get a little more control or manage over your reactions
Mhm.
and being more responsible. Yeah, the Dalai Lama says some days, he might have to go back to the breath 100 times because his mind, he's a busy guy too. So it's no goal of clearing your mind and one day you'll do it, one day you won't. It's really not like that. It's more of building a relationship with yourself because you get to look at
Yeah.
these thoughts and you're like, why am I still thinking about him? What a waste of time. I gotta fix this.
or that person at work, or what that family member said at a dinner a couple of years ago. It's like there's always going to be something that we have to wrestle with, but if we can set that aside and just be still.
Yeah, recognize it for what it is to say, "I don't need that anymore in my life, and I'm gonna refocus, forget that." And so it's a matter of yeah, it's just self-awareness.
Yeah, something came to mind when you were sharing about, it doesn't have to look like this, or you shouldn't have to feel guilty if something doesn't happen every time you meditate, because my parents listen to this podcast and sometimes they'll watch on YouTube. So, but when we first started probably meditating, like my parents and I, and we kind of get more spiritual when something tragic happens in your life. We did lose a family member in the 9/11 plane crashes at the World Trade Center. My cousin died, and he was my aunt's only child. And so we were always kind of like looking for ways to connect and ways to kind of be peaceful. And so it's probably been that's been a while. And it's probably been at least 20 years since we started meditating. But I think there was a time where my mom thought, I think she kind of felt competitive. Like, why am I not seeing what you guys are seeing? Like when we would all kind of share what we would see after meditating, and that we all had different experiences. But,
Yeah,
I think I don't know what she sees now when she meditates. We really haven't talked about that, and I'm sure we will after this conversation. But, you can't beat yourself up about it. You have to just think my experience is different than everybody else's, and I have my own path to follow.
it's not a competition
Mhm.
at all, and there's no right or wrong way. So
Mm-mm.
that's why when people say, "Oh, I can't meditate," it's like, "Oh, you probably can, you just have to find the right way for you."
And people have like this idea of what it looks like, and it doesn't have to be fancy. You
Yeah.
don't have to have the incense and the music and everything, but yeah, see what
I
what lights you up.
I want it to be like brushing your teeth in the morning. It's like should be a part of your routine. You take your vitamins, you do your little 10-minute chanting or whatever you wanna do, just whatever calms your brain and all that. But there was also a doctor called Doctor Herbert Benson back in the '30s who got sick of writing prescriptions for Valium, and he said to people,
Hmm.
"You can do" 'cause it's just a muscle relaxant. He said, "You could do this yourself, you guys." So he wrote a book called The Relaxation Response. And it is what we call in the meditation world the body scan. And it's the best way to end your day when you're lying in bed at night and you're really tired. You know you're tired, but for some reason you're just not going to go to sleep. The best thing you can do is start at the top of your head and notice your scalp and notice a pulsation, a warmth, and then relax your forehead and then around your eyes and let go of the squinting and the frown lines. And when I do body scans, sometimes I start doing it and I realize I'm actually hanging onto my sheets, going like I'm on a roller coaster. And you don't so when you scan down to all your muscles and try and bring your shoulders away from your ears and just relax your body, you learn to do a body scan, you're asleep before you get to your toes. Because that's what your mind is hoping for, It's like, "Can we just stop and so we can go to sleep? Can we just stop, please?" So you take care of your body, you relax it, and then you're out. So I always recommend that. I used to be a sleep health educator for Kaiser teaching sleep classes. And honestly, my sleep meditation cured all those insomniacs pretty darn quick.
That's a great idea, a body scan. And I've heard that before, in different sleep or, meditative recordings that I've listened to. But, it's nice to know the history behind it, that it was because a doctor saw too many people asking for Valium. Wow. Okay. Yeah. A body scan in the evening before you go to bed,
In
but
bed, lying
in
in
bed.
bed.
Okay.
Yeah, under the covers, ready to drop to sleep.
Okay. Good way to quiet the mind and then give your body attention.
Mhm, yeah.
I like that. So, let's say there's somebody listening to this who's never tried meditation before ever. How would you suggest that they start their first session?
Well, I think they should get my app, of course, Tranquil Me, and just choose one of the meditations and listen to their intuition, see which one they're guided to. They might want, I have it in alphabetical order, so they might want one for abundance. They might want a self love meditation. Maybe they're drawn to that. And then there's the breath, the classic breath. And then there's tuning up your chakras and your energy body. There's this other one, where you feel self-love for other people. You do the classic metta, which is it's a compassionate Buddhist meditation called loving kindness. That's a really great one to spread love through the world. That's like praying for peace and love. That's a lovely one. And then, of course, there's the one for people insomniacs, the deep sleep. There's healthy weight and healthy affirmations for healthy weight. There's self-forgiveness. There's increase your intuition. There's so many great meditations that anyone can do. So I would just say get a guided meditation either on my app, or I'm also on Insight Timer, which has been New York Times called the number one best meditation app in the world. 30
Hmm.
million people have Insight Timer. So I'm on that doing live classes every day. But I there's a great community on there you can join and just try it out. So many meditations on there. Try them out. Find a voice that you like. And it's that easy. You don't even have to do it yourself. Someone else is going to guide you to that inner peace. And there are many paths up the mountain, but they all lead to the same place of peace.
Yeah, that is so true. And I'm downloading it now. I don't believe, being in education for the last 30 years, teachers would hear about one app, predominantly, but it's good to know that this is a free app, Insight Timer. You
Yeah.
can download it now and you can look for Catherine
Yeah. Look for
and
me.
her meditations.
You follow me. I have all my tracks. I have courses. I have a sleep course and a self course that you could take. Now, it is $60 a year if you do want the premium version, and that's not very much, 60 a
Hmm.
year. And you can play my tracks on repeat while you're asleep. I have affirmation tracks just because we want to reprogram a lot of the negative thinking that causes the bad health habits in our life. Like, it really helps people lose weight. It helps people get over their blocks around money. I have tracks for all that as well.
Yeah, I think it's amazing all the things that you list that you support, like negative self-talk and the way we think about our body image and the way we think about our wealth and, all the things that we're thinking about, probably relationships. So,
Yeah,
it's
well, your
interesting.
relationship with yourself is the first, foremost, most important one. Even Buddha said, no one deserves your loving kindness. No one in the whole universe deserves it more than you. You need your love. You give it away so freely to everybody. Give, 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 give. And what's left for you? So you
Mm,
need to fill your cup of self-love so it overflows to everyone in your life who depend on you. Those people want you to be healthy and happy. So when I say self-love, a lot of people think it's selfish, narcissistic. Oh, I'm not allowed to love myself, I'm not allowed to be proud of myself. And it's silly because you're depleting yourself. You need
yeah,
to be fulfilled in life to help others.
right. And I think the secret to life is to love and be love.
And it's a lifelong journey. I mean, reading my book, Befriend Yourself, it's all about self-love, meditation, and world peace. This is what the book's about. And I wrote it for beginners because I taught those health education classes, and I found out even if people who are suffering from obesity or anxiety or emotional unwellness, insomnia, they all had the basic lack of self-love. Because when you love something, you take care of it. So this is a really
Mm,
basic for anyone who's interested in meditation, or maybe you are really into all this, but your husband isn't, or your
right.
friends aren't. And it's like, give this to them. This is a great introductory book for people who haven't meditated before. It explains a lot.
So you have your app with all kinds of meditations, and then you have your presence is on other apps. You also have a book. What other projects are you working on right now?
I'm working on my retreat, which is right after Christmas. It's a perfect timing, 28th of December to January 4th. We're going to Costa Rica to a beautiful resort that is purpose-built for retreats, and we're going to do art every day. And we're going to do meditation and little yoga and all these fun things, sound healing and really fun hikes and waterfalls and all sorts of beautiful retreat things that you do. And it's vegan meals all day, gourmet vegan meals in this beautiful dining room 3 times a day. It's going to be fantastic. So we're doing that over New Year's. We try to do one a year at least. And then after the retreat, I'm working on a documentary about meditation at the
Okay, that's amazing. Sometimes it's the simplest things that are so hard to work into your life and be consistent with. So take a mindful minute, do a little work in the morning, little work around 3,
yeah.
and do the scanning at
And
night.
you could do it in your car. I do
Mhm.
it in my car. I'll take a nap in my car. I'll just do the light, pull over and close and shut down for a couple minutes.
Mhm.
It's and the thing that keeps you going is that it feels so good. Once you try it, people love it. They're like, "Man, I feel so good." They wanna do it again. It's not a chore.
Right. Right. And that is, I think we have to lean into that a little bit. Be aware of how you feel once you try it and try it again and give yourself grace and do it for a minute the first time. Try to do it for a minute and a half the next time.
Yeah, you could well, this is what Inside Timer originally was. It was just
Mm.
a timer. It was just a timer. You could pick a little Tibetan bowl like this, or you could pick a sound crystal bowl, and you pick the sound that's gonna go off in 2 minutes, or you do 10 minutes or 30 seconds. You set the timer. That's what it used to be, but then these, brothers bought it from the original guy who made the timer, and they expanded it and turned it into the best one in the world.
So that means there's plenty out there. There should be something for everybody.
Yeah, look, it's a simple practice and it's good for you. I mean, people are really waking up to what's healthy. They
Hmm.
and there's biohacking and longevity studies, and everybody wants to live longer. So the meditation is numero uno for
Yeah.
that.
I mean, it does take work. You do have to set the time aside for it. But like you said, it doesn't have to be hours, it can be minutes.
You create more time by taking 2 minutes off to unplug. You are more efficient because of that.
Hmm. Yep.
But it's only one way to find out, don't take my word for it.
Right. And it's another way to go slow to go fast. So, Catherine, I just want to say thank you for joining us. I'm so happy that you could take time to sit down and share your experience with meditation and where you're going next. So, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. It was great to meet you.
Yes, yes. And I look forward to hearing more about your documentary.
When we get it going, I'll let you know. Thanks, Kendra.
Yeah, thank you. That's all we have for the Go Slow to Go Fast podcast today. What a beautiful, grounding conversation with Catherine Ramadi. A true reminder that peace isn't something we find outside of ourselves. It's something that we cultivate within. And if you'd like to learn more about Catherine's work, her book, Befriend Yourself, The Self-Love Path to Peace, or her upcoming Costa Rica retreat, you can visit lightenupreretreat.com for more information. You can also explore her Tranquil Me app for guided meditations and sleep support. Her voice alone is a soothing balm for the soul. As always, thank you for listening to the Go Slow to Go Fast podcast. If this episode resonated with you, I hope that you'll consider sharing it with a friend or two who need a little reminder that it's okay to take a moment and pause and breathe deeply and even try some meditation. So if you could ask them to follow the show or take a moment to follow, share, and leave a review, it really helps us get the show to more people who need it. Until next time, take a deep breath, go slow, and trust that peace begins with you. And as always, the light in me honors the light in you. And as you head into the rest of your week, let your light shine through. Go slow to go fast. And thanks for listening.